Hello from the future. So as you can see, some things have happened that you haven't seen yet, and that's because I'm going back to make an intro. I lost some content that went over some stuff, so I wanted to address it now. You'll see in this episode a couple of performance enhancements that we're doing, specifically upgrading the fuel system, upgrading the oil system, and a couple other things, and that's for support of turbo. So yeah, I finally caved and am going more power. That's kind of what sparked this whole build. We are cleaning up the engine, getting everything tip top, and going to boost. Now, I'm not going for a crazy power figure. I'm not trying to stun on all my friends. I just want a little bit more power to keep up with some of the faster homies. So very modest goals. I want to be in the 300 to 350 range. I'm probably going to be on wastegate pressure, so like 5-6 pounds of boost. But that should be more than plenty to do bigger tracks like VIR or up the mountains of West Virginia, because I struggled sometimes at the DA events doing that. But I'm super excited. I've had the stock horsepower in this car for as long as I've been driving, so like 8 years, 9 years, something like that. And I've done a ton with it, and there's a reason why I kind of stuck with it for so long, and that's just because I wanted to keep everything reliable. I wanted as many laps as I could. I don't want any dramas, which was great for a long time. But I'm at a position now where I want to do more. I want to be able to do bigger tracks and be a bit more competitive. So turbo it is. So in this episode, you'll see fuel mods. You'll see me drop a bunch of stuff, and we'll do the gallery gaskets. Maybe this episode, that might be next episode. There was definitely some scope creep on the next episode, or a couple things that have been going on, but it's all for the best. So stay tuned. You'll see some of that and the shenanigans around all of my nonsense. But yeah, enjoy, and let's get after it. All right, so we generally have the turbo mounted to the engine's first test fit. Fits pretty well. I think I'm going to adjust this pipe, get this a little bit tighter and lower, so that way we'll have a good positioning for the downpipe. However, we do have a nice piece here that I think will do really well. I mean, it's pretty close already. We'll take some cut. We'll likely have to run it up and along and then down, because this is normally where the header starts. So the header goes like straight down here. So this is where the main room is. So like rotate this. We may have to jump this, I don't know. Or go through the middle. But that's really tight. I doubt we're going to try to do that. It's more than likely going to go up and over. So now that this is test fit, I took some measurements for fittings. So those are on the way. So today we're going to pull off the intake manifold, do fuel, maybe a couple other things, but we're moving along. So this actually looks pretty clean in here. If you don't have a catch can set up for your, in between your plenum, sometimes you'll get like oil, like a lot of oil in here. When I had it beforehand, I had a ton. I actually have, this one doesn't have a catch can on it. So we'll probably correct that for the next setup and just run both valve cover vents into the same one. I don't know if I can wire them into the same one or if I have to make them independent, but we'll figure that out. You'll see I have a spacer on top of that. That's why these two little nylon inserts are in here. there's two on either side of this that are stuck to the other thing, but that's fine. So now we can pull this side off, start worrying about the injectors, and then pretty much just reassembly. Like we'll clean up the gasket surface and reassemble. This is one of those, well, I'm here, so might as well eyeball stuff. Clean and happy, clean and happy, clean and happy. Well, it could be cleaner, but happy. Not a lot of carbon buildup, which is nice. Looks pretty clean. All right, injector time should be, this whole assembly should come off. These. All right, so there is a clip on the back side that slides out, and that allows you to be able to pull the whole unit out. I remember where that one went. All right, and then I'm gonna keep the clip with it. Not sure if I need to reuse that or not. There you go. Stock injector. Looks pretty good. I mean, I didn't have any issues with them, so I'll probably keep them just in case. In case of what? I don't know. I don't know. Same thing on this side. Gentle with these little clips. We don't want to break them. Set this away from the intake manifold. We don't want it falling down in there. That would be a pain in the ass.
Oh no.
What did I just say? If something falls down there, it would be a pain in the ass. That bolt just fell down inside. All right. That'll be fun to work out. Let me stay here for a second. All right, we've got all of our 1000cc injectors in place. They use the factory clips. There is a wiring harness adapter, so from the OEM to what we need, but we'll install that after we get this in place. Time to go bolt this down. One additional tip, getting the O-rings in, you want to first off make sure they're clear, make sure that the seating bezel is clear, both sides on the fuel rail and on the engine side, so I've cleaned all those out. What actually helps is just a little bit of grease or engine oil, so I just use like a dab of my finger, just a tiny little bit. You don't want to soak it, but just something to help the O-ring get into place without tearing. So I'll lube these up and then install time. All right, this is fun. You want to talk about the stuff that really binds you up in the shop. So for the fuel rail, there are these little rubber inserts that sit on top of here. I only have 3 of them, but there are 4. So I'm looking, trying to find this piece. You know, I'm worried it fell down in one of the runners, and there's a valve or 2 open, so I'm worried could it have gotten in there because I couldn't see anything. Maybe it got underneath. I mean, there's a bunch of area underneath the actual intake where it comes in. So I'm searching, looking all over the shop, starting to freak out, worried I gotta like pull stuff apart. And then I found it. in this bracket, it's wedged. How in the hell did it get behind here? Well, whatever. There's another bowl here too. Jeez. This is a trap, I guess. But, yeah, that was like 30 minutes of nonsense. Okay, anyway, let's put this fuel rail on. Oh, I'm so silly. I was about to put this on without plugging in my fuel rail. Slow down, Chris. Come on, man. Just getting ahead of myself, that's all. You saw that, right? All right, we've got all of the injectors in and plugged in. We fished out a bunch of stuff out of the runners. We got the gasket on. I'm gonna have the lower plenum go on. We're gonna finish painting the upper one, and then the top end should be ready to go. Well, that's actually not true. We gotta do spark plugs. We gotta swap to colder plugs, but I don't have those yet, so we'll do those after we get this part done. We're gonna get a new cap at some point, but yeah, pretty pleased on how that looks. Kind of neat. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this week's episode. We got the injectors in and the top end put back together. Next time, we're going to be sorting out all the oil delivery needs, both for the turbo and the engine. So that's oil to and from the turbo and the regulator involved with all that, plus the gallery gaskets. So once we get that sorted out, engine goes back in the car, and we're on to getting close to first start. So super excited. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time, guys.